going on, dudes? Welcome back to episode number 3 of Building Blutora. Now, where we're at right now, obviously not very familiar for some of you guys watching. Where we're at right now is the city of Lethio. This is a mountain kingdom that we have been working on for just over 6 months now over on our stream on twitch.tv. I definitely highly encourage you stop by and check it out sometime. We're live 5 days a week. We're building awesome stuff just like this, except instead of this highly edited time lapse in kind of really quick format, we do it live, bit by bit, block by block. Everything you guys see here was done on stream at one point or another for the past 6 months. It's a fun time. I highly recommend you guys stop by sometimes. We would love to have you guys here. Now, today, we're not working out here, of course. This is our stream project. We're going to be heading back on over to the city of Westwind, where we've spent the first 2 episodes getting all kinds of different progress done and just completed. But before we do that, I was doing some work off stream and off camera, combination of both of the two, and I went ahead and time-lapsed it up. We were working on a little bit of roadway between this city, the city of Lethio, and our secondary project, the town of Revive, which I guess you'll have to tune into the stream to see for yourselves. But yeah, I did a little bit of work on the road over there, so go ahead and check that out as I make my way back on over to Westwind. All right, we are here, and you guys may notice something pretty different, and that is because I took the shaders off. Now, one thing I totally forgot to consider in the first 2 episodes was that a lot of you guys don't actually use shaders or just can't really use shaders, and so when I use them and I try to show some of the things that I'm building and how I'm doing things and all of that kind of stuff, it doesn't really come across quite the same. It doesn't feel exactly the same. So I do plan on keeping shaders for things like our stream and time lapses and stuff like that. However, when we're just hanging out, building some things, showing you guys what we're doing, and just kind of progressing through these videos, we're not going to have them. I will keep the resource pack, though. This resource pack has become pretty integral to the world here and how I've modeled everything, how I've styled everything. It is very important to keep this at the very least. And if you guys do want to try this resource pack for yourself, I'll have a link to it in the description of each one of these episodes. I highly recommend using this resource pack. It was made by JermsyBoy, another fantastic builder in Minecraft and content creator who has done an extraordinary job on some of the textures in this resource pack. So without further ado, we have got to pick up where we left off on last episode. Now, last episode, as you guys can see, we had a absolute ton of progress made in terms of the detailing phase on the outsides of the buildings. Now, I originally had intended to do the interiors of everything down here as well as all of this detail, but it kind of was lost on me just how long it would take to actually do all of the detail. And so that ended up being the kind of extent to what we did on last episode. We detailed up the exteriors of the buildings, adding some different depth and missing bricks and little little bits and bobs around the place. We also dressed up the entire kind of ceiling to this area. Mine is this area. I totally forgot this area. Can we talk about this? How did I miss that entire section right there? I don't know, but we'll fix that in the future. That'll be fine. I won't even worry about that. We also dressed up the lighting, did a little bit of work on the ground here. All of the different areas between the buildings got a little bit of attention to detail, but I guess not enough attention to detail. Not supposed to have the redstone there, but for the most part, we got a lot done using the moss, using the mossy cobblestone, using the glowberries up top, and I also placed string underneath each one of those so that they wouldn't grow any further than they are. I don't know if I had covered that in the last episode when I was doing that, but that's a very important thing. I don't want these growing all the way down. Luckily for us, with the glow lichen, it doesn't work like vines and they don't grow on their own. So this, for example, will never move from there. It'll never come down any further. It's just going to hang out right there. I don't need any string or anything like that right there. So that's always nice. But in terms of today's episode, what I do want to do is get caught up on this bottom layer right here and do a bunch of the interior work. So last episode, I showed a little bit of or I kind of detailed a little bit of how I kind of go about these interiors, at least for the city of Westwind right here. Very specific, very unique, kind of a one-of-a-kind style, right? It's very stone-based. There's a lot of that kind of theme going on. Not too much wood happening, but there's still a little bit, right? It's pretty cramped, pretty crowded. These buildings don't have a lot of area within them to kind of utilize, some more than others, of course, but just kind of filling these up and getting them to a kind of a proper house kind of state for all of these buildings that we've done up to this point. And the reason that I'm not doing any shops yet is because I'm not going to have any shops out in this kind of center ring, if you will. I mentioned a little bit in the previous episode that we are going to be digging these areas out into caverns of their own that are going to go a little deeper, and then we'll expand the pathways. We'll add some more buildings in there. That'll be some more kind of commercial or industrial areas for this kingdom specifically. We're going to kind of have all of the residential buildings out towards the center, and then as you go a little deeper, you'll have some of the other stuff, if that makes sense. So everything you guys see here that has already been laid out, all houses, and then from there, like this, for example, this is a really good example. This cavern that we have built over here that I built absolutely forever ago to kind of emulate what a completed Westwind might look like. Things like this, right? And this is, the palace where the rulers of Westwind would reside, and we still got to work on that at some point as well. All I have is the facade. I don't have any interiors or anything like that done. So that'll be a project that we'll have to get onto as well. But things like this kind of a thing for all of the shops and all of the any of the industrial types of things, like mining operations, that is, if I could find the words there, mining operations for all kinds of different stones, the andesites, the granites, the stuff like that, because one of the largest exports from Westwind is all of the stone and materials that they mine up, not necessarily ores like iron or gold per se. Obviously, there is a bit of that they can export as well, but some of the stone types that other areas of the world can't get as they don't have it as readily available, right? And so they can kind of import it from here in the city of Westwind, and so that's a really big focus here. So we'll be doing some mining operations and such like that in some of those industrial areas, and all of these areas where the house is kind of flip-flop from against the wall to against the center. That is where we're going to start to dig out all the caverns, when we have these big wide open walls. I left these untouched in the last episode in terms of the detailing phase because of that very reason. We're going to have a lot of these areas kind of carved out and dressed up specifically for a different purpose, right? But for now, our focus is on the houses. So I need to go ahead and get started on some of the interiors so that we can get a little bit caught up. Why don't we go ahead and do that? right, we are about halfway through all of the interiors now. Everything from where we started right there to about right here-ish. It looks like that one's done, but that one's not. I think that's where I had left off right there. It was right at a transition point. Yeah, that looks about right. Right before we get into this section of houses right up on the edge right here. All of these interiors are done though. As you guys saw, we worked on those for quite a while there, getting everything filled out, get everything filled in. And one thing I did notice as I was doing this is these are not lit up enough to keep things from spawning, but that's okay. When 118 releases, the lighting will change, and this will be plenty bright enough to prevent things from spawning in there. Now, one thing that did cross my mind while I was working on some of the interiors is something that I've been meaning to do for a little bit, which is to go down here towards the bottom of our area next to the water and the bedrock here and clean up this area. All of these kind of I guess mini cliff sides, these I don't know what exactly we would call them, but they're all dirty, you know, gravel and ores and splotches of random things that don't really belong there, and they don't really look, you know, it really takes away, right? It really kind of is distracting. It really pulls your attention away from some of the builds and some of the details that we've been working on. So one thing that I want to do real quick is go ahead and try to implement a little bit of what we have here, just on a larger scale in these kind of stone walls, give them some depth, add some different textures, get some moss in there, and really just kind of spice it up. I'll probably go ahead and do it from there all the way over there, just connect this whole kind of thing right here, and we'll have a really good kind of sample size to really see how it turns out, really see how it starts to look. I mean, what I kind of plan on doing exactly for this is I've actually loaded up on a bunch of stuff here. We have all kinds of mossy cobblestone and then some stairs and slabs. Same with regular stone as well as cobblestone. Now, we're gonna have a lot of things falling on top of us here while we're attempting to do this. But what I'm thinking is, you know, first and foremost, all of this has got to go. No granite, no diorite, nothing like that. That's all gotta go, because it just, I don't know, it's way too messy, kind of takes away from it, not really what we're going for. The cobblestone I'm not exactly gonna get rid of, and I'll explain that in a second. We're actually gonna use that to make it kind of achieve the look that we're trying to go for. So if you look right here on this wall, we have mossy cobblestone, regular stone, and normal cobblestone. Due to our use of mossy cobblestone, I feel like it only makes sense to start incorporating some regular cobblestone kind of around the area. And then beyond this, I want to take it a step further. I don't want to just have the walls be flat or, you know, just be super simple or anything like that. We can start to add some depth. And just to give a little bit of an example, we can really play around with some stairs and some slabs, and maybe not right there, but some stairs and slabs to really get some interesting things going on here. Obviously I'm gonna have to switch between the two quite a lot, but this is gonna give us some depth here. Maybe have the water kind of come in a little bit, and I'll need to go grab a water bucket to kind of help prevent the water from just be flowing like that at all times and be really annoying. But even up on the corners and stuff, we can really get creative with kind of shaping the place out and really making it feel like it's got a lot more depth and it's a lot more interesting than what it is previously. Get some kind of shapes forming in the stone, and even if we're feeling crazy at some points, we could start to bring some things out and give it a lot more depth. So if we just grab some stone and just kind of go crazy with it for a second, and maybe we have a little piece of the stone coming out. You know, we can't do it perfectly, but you know, we can get a little something achieved there. You know, we don't have all of the blocks in the world to make it a perfect shape, but you know, stuff like that where we can really start to like dress it up and really give this formation some character. Really kind of give it some pizzazz and make it look you know, less messy, but also just look better overall, right? It's much better to look at something like this. You know, it's much more appealing to the eye than to look at something like this. You know what I mean? And so that's a big part as to what I want to try to do here and what I want to try to create. And just see how it looks, see how it complements our building, see how it complements some of the other detail that we've done. And then in the future, we can maybe apply it to some of the other areas wherever we deem necessary. But without further ado, let me go ahead and get started on that. And to do that, let's enter I didn't have a word for this. Fast mode. We're gonna build fast. That's what we're gonna do. Well, would you look at that? The difference that has made is more than I expected, to be honest. It's, you know, it's nothing too fancy, nothing too crazy. It doesn't necessarily, you know, it's not the greatest thing we've ever done, but I think it's just a nice enough touch that it really kind of complements everything else going on, and it really blends it well with some of the other details that we got going on. You know, the houses kind of stand out now, but you know, it looks very much the same from this area here to the walls behind up into the ceiling up top there as well. And of course, there's even room for some more details in the walls, like maybe some of this, some of the stairs and slabs, the things that kind of add depth, right? Maybe that's something we do in the future as well to really kind of bring it all together and make it look all nice and proper. But as you guys can see, it's looking a lot better. I connected it all the way around right there. Obviously, this area hasn't been touched yet, as I haven't touched the houses or anything at this point. That'll be, you know, something that we'll do off in the future. But in terms of our current area in which we're focused on, I really like it. I really like how it's looking. I'm really happy with it. This place is, you know, it's starting to take form, starting to take shape, starting to really come together. You know, it's more than just one kind of prototype build within that little cavern right there. I'm trying to get like the best overall look at it. It's a little tricky to find just the right one. But and there's going to be phantoms here in a second. I don't think I've slept in a little bit because I've just been working on doing all of this as quickly as I can and just kind of hammering it home. But I really like it. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below as to how our kind of detailing is going and how all that's looking. That dirt's kind of throwing me off, but that's not going to be there forever. It's just going to be, you know, a cavern in the future. So you just got to kind of use your imagination. Imagine it's not there, at least for the time being. But no, I really like it. I'm really happy with it. And in some of the areas in between, we won't need nearly as much, but some of these areas, you know, we'll kind of take the ceiling design, which is, you know, very similar to the walls, and then this area down here, and kind of translate it a little bit, you know, maybe round out these little ledges right here, kind of along these different, I guess, platforms, or whatever we want to call these different areas. Those will all get a little bit of kind of this detail added to them in the future as well. And I think when we see that in a kind of in a full kind of perspective where, you know, everything is kind of dressed up like that, I think it's going to look really cool. And then in the future, it also leaves the question as to what we're going to do with all of this. I think we might end up with, may very well end up with more floors than we have right now. I think that's definitely possible, especially with 1.18 coming out, and the fact that this will no longer be bedrock in a matter of time. We'll have to expand downward as well. This project is only on the cusp of being started, in all fairness. I still don't know what to do with that spider spawner. You know, we dug through a dungeon when I first dug this hole, and that spider spawner's just been there for forever. And, you know, I feel bad breaking it, but there's really no use for it. It's just kind of been there for eternity at this point. So I don't know. That's an interesting one. I'll probably end up getting rid of it. I haven't brought myself to do it yet. I've dug this hole, you know, when I first discovered this spawner years ago when I first found this, and it's been there for years. And I originally had some other ideas that I might have incorporated in the build to make that work, but I don't really know. I don't know that's going to fit our needs. But either way, I'm just kind of rambling at this point. Let me know what you guys think down below, both about the interiors that we've kind of been throwing together in all of the houses. Of course, these are some of the first ones that we did. But those, and then the level of detail that we're kind of doing. Some of the ways we're dressing it up and detailing the areas, adding, wow, did that guy want to die? That's kind of crazy. Adding all of these mossy cobblestone blocks, stairs, slabs, the stone stairs, stone slabs, the glow berries, all that kind of stuff. Every little kind of detail that we've added to really dress up the place and make it really kind of come to life. I love it. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comments, and I believe that is all we'll be able to do today. All we'll be able to get done on this episode. I don't want these to run too long. Keep them kind of short, sweet, to the point. Do a little bit of stuff, you know, here and there. Show you guys a little bit here and there, and just kind of get some progress going. So I'm happy with it. Let me know what you guys think down below. And until whoa. That was a bonk. Somebody just followed the... Wow. Somebody just followed the Twitch stream while I'm recording that. That's kind of crazy. That doesn't happen very often. Speaking of Twitch stream, you should definitely check it out. Link in the description below. We stream 5 days a week. I'll catch you guys next time in episode number 4. Who knows what we'll be up to then. But keep an eye out. I'll see you guys then. Stay vibing. Stay wholesome. And until next time...